Welcome to Threshold City. This is a narrated reading of Shadows of the Night, a dark urban fantasy novel written by Raven Knight. If you enjoy supernatural mysteries and atmospheric storytelling, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next chapter. Now settle in. Chapter 2, Residual Heat. The morgue always smelled like bleach and old coal, not in a haunted way. In a we scrubbed the world off this room and it still won't come clean way. Jessie Stewart didn't look up when I came through the door. She was hunched over a stainless steel table, shoulders tight under a black hoodie that said, City M.E. in faded block letters. Her hair was dragged into a knot that looked like it had lost a fight with gravity. Gloves snapped at her wrists, scalpel in hand. She had the calm focus of someone who'd accepted that humanity was a meat problem. "You're late," she said. "I had to close a hole in reality." She leaned closer to the corpse. Traffic's murder. I dragged a stool over and sat before my knees decided to fold on their own. My left hand still trembled. It wasn't dramatic. It was worse. Small. Relentless. Like the nerves were trying to remember how to be loyal. Jessie finally glanced at me. Her eyes went straight to my hand. "That you," she said. "Or are we blaming the corpse for shaking you down?" "Bit of both." She went back to work. Grafton called ahead. Of course he did. He sounded like he'd swallowed a filing cabinet. Jessie made a shallow incision along the sternum, peeling tissue back with practiced ease. He asked if I'd seen anything unusual. "And what did you say?" I said, "Define unusual." Then he hung up. That tracked. The body was laid out under harsh lights, chest cleaned, throat stitched for transport. Whoever did intake had tried to make him look less violated. It didn't work. You could scrub blood off skin. You couldn't scrub intent. The spiral was still there, carved lines across his chest, edges sharp and too precise. Jessie had traced them with a marker at some point, like she couldn't help herself. For her, everything was evidence. For me, everything was a warning. "How bad is it?" I asked. Jessie slid a probe into one of the carved channels and paused. "Depends," she said. "How much do you like your nightmares with breakfast?" "Surprise me." She snorted softly, the closest thing Jessie got to a laugh. Then she angled the overhead light and I saw it. The tissue around the spiral wasn't bruised. It was cooked, not burned like fire. Burned like something had pulled heat out of the air and shoved it through his veins until the vessels gave up. The flesh had a faint gray sheen to it, not decomposition, not chemicals, something else. Jessie ran 2 fingers along the edge of a cut, then held them up. The glove had a faint metallic dust on it, like graphite, like ash. "His blood clotted wrong," she said. "Not natural wrong, pattern wrong." My stomach tightened. "Show me." Jessie tipped the table slightly and rolled the body a few degrees. She was careful. Gentle, like she was handling something fragile instead of someone dead. She pointed at the underside of his ribs. The veins there weren't random branching lines anymore. They were organized, collapsed into symmetry. It looked like someone had reached inside him and folded his vascular system into a diagram. "Tell me you see that," Jessie said. "I see it." "That," she said, "is not how bodies behave. Not unless you're doing arts and crafts with physics." My head throbbed, the pressure behind my eyes building like a storm testing the roof. "Residual," I murmured. Jessie glanced at me. "Residual what?" I swallowed the copper taste rising in my mouth. "Heat, pressure, magic, whatever you want to call it." Jessie didn't flinch at the word magic. She never did. She didn't believe in it, like a kid believes in ghosts. She believed in it like a mechanic believes in a bad alternator. It's real because it ruins your day. So your alley friend, she said, wasn't just drained. No. She peeled back more tissue. The ribs cracked softly as she opened the thoracic cavity. The sound was small, still made my teeth itch. Inside, the lungs were mottled, not from drowning, not from smoke, from micro-ruptures, like he'd been breathing through a filter made of needles. Jesse made a thoughtful noise. He inhaled something. He didn't inhale it, I said. Jesse paused mid-motion. You sure? I leaned forward, ignoring the complaint my body made about it. That spiral wasn't decoration. It was a circuit. It pulled something through him. Jesse lifted an eyebrow. So he was a straw. Yeah. My voice came out flat, and whatever was on the other end took a sip. Jesse stared at the body, then at me. You look like you're going to throw up, she said, tone clinical. I'm not. You're lying. Fine, I'm considering it. She went back to the body. His heart. What about it? Jesse held up a gloved hand. Come look. I stood. My legs protested, but they held. She'd opened the pericardium. The heart sat there, dark and heavy, and there was a thin, pale line carved into it. Not a cut from her scalpel. Too precise. Too intentional. A single stroke, like a signature. Jesse angled the heart so the light caught it. The line formed part of a symbol. Incomplete. Again. My headache sharpened. Jesse, I said carefully, did you move him much? Minimal, she frowned. Why? Because the pattern's still trying to... The fluorescent lights flickered. Once. Twice. Jesse froze. I didn't. I stepped back from the table fast, hand lifting instinctively as if I could shield the room with my palm. The air shifted, that same low hum I'd felt in the alley. Not as strong, but present. Residual heat, like the ritual had left a brand in the room. Jesse's eyes tracked the lights. Is the building about to lose power? No. My voice went cold. It's him. Excuse me? I pointed at the corpse. He's still... connected. Jessie stared at me like she'd decide whether to believe me based on my posture. Then the corpse's mouth opened. Just a fraction. Not dramatic. Not a scream. A slow slackening of the jaw like the muscles forgot they were dead. Jessie swallowed hard. Not fear. Adjustment. Jessie took one step back. Her scalpel stayed in her hand, but the point dipped. Evie, she said quietly, tell me that's a nerve thing. It's not a nerve thing. The hum deepened. The carved spiral on his chest darkened as if wet, though the skin was dry. Then a bead of blood pushed up through one of the channels. One bead. A punctuation mark. Jessie's voice was steady, but her eyes weren't. What the hell is happening? They're checking if the line holds, I said, if my response stuck. Jessie started, then stopped. That was you. The window thing. Grafton said there was glass everywhere. Yeah? You did that? Yeah. Jessie's gaze went to my trembling hand. Her mouth tightened. And it cost you. Everything costs. The corpse's chest twitched, not breathing. A pull. Like something below the table had hooked a wire and tested tension. I moved closer, careful not to touch any of the marked lines Jessie had drawn. The air above the spiral felt thin, wrong, like a layer of plastic stretched tight and ready to tear. I can close it again, I said, but if I pulse in here, I'll knock out half the building, and probably you. Jessie's eyes narrowed. I'd prefer you don't kill me in my own workplace. I'll add it to my list of personal growth goals. The corpse's heart gave a tiny shudder. Jessie made a sound like she'd just swallowed something sharp. That's not... I know. I closed my eyes for half a second and reached with my senses instead of my hands. The connection was there, thread thin, running from the carved line on the heart into the air above the body, into nothing. Not nothing. Elsewhere. A pressure on the far side. Curious. Patient. Not hungry. Testing. I opened my eyes. Someone's listening through him, I said. Jessie's face drained of color. Like a phone? Like a wiretap, I said. But alive. The lights flickered again, and in the hum, I heard something that wasn't sound. A shape of a thought. A presence brushing the edge of my mind like fingers on glass. Not words, not images, just certainty. I know you. My stomach dropped. Jessie's voice came tight. Evie, you're staring. Shut up, I muttered. What? Not you. I swallowed hard. Him. Jessie's grip on the scalpel tightened until the glove creaked. Do you want me to stab him? Because I can stab him. I have options. I almost smiled. It came out wrong. He's already dead. Then it's ethically clean. Tempting. I looked at the corpse. But that's not the point. This is a message. Jessie's eyes flicked to the carved line on the heart. From who? I didn't answer immediately because I didn't know the name yet. But I knew the shape, the geometry, the intent. Same as the alley. Controlled, measured, like someone building a file on me. Someone with time, I said finally. Jessie scoffed, thin and humorless. Great. A patient serial killer. Those are always fun. The hum peaked. The bead of blood on the spiral trembled. I made my choice. I stepped in close and planted my palm on the stainless steel edge of the table. Not the body, not the lines. Grounding. Then I pulled a small strip of salt from my coat pocket and scattered it in a ring around the corpse's torso. Jessie watched with the expression of someone watching a coworker commit workplace violations with confidence. That, she said, is either insane or you have a very specific seasoning habit. Salt disrupts certain connections, I said. Like what? Demons? Like nosy bastards. The bead of blood stopped trembling. The hum dipped. Not gone, but weakened. Jessie exhaled slowly, almost silently. Okay, she said. So you do know what you're doing. I know enough to know I'm outmatched. That's reassuring. I'm full of comfort. I pulled my hand back, flexed my fingers, ignored the tremor. The corpse lay still again. Too still, like a trap that had decided to wait. Jessie lowered her scalpel slightly, eyes still on the body. So what now? Now, I said. I tell Liam to stop pretending this is a normal case. Jessie's mouth twisted. And he's going to listen to you? He already saw a hole in the world open above a corpse, I said. If he's still in denial after that, I'll file him under willful stupidity and move on. Jessie finally looked at me fully. You trust him? I hesitated. Trust was a luxury. Liam was a variable. But he'd told his people to clear the alley. He'd held me up when my legs quit. He'd asked questions instead of running. I trust him to be stubborn, I said, and to hate feeling stupid. Jessie nodded once. Good traits in a cop. I turned toward the door. Jessie's voice stopped me. Evie. I looked back. She lifted her chin toward my left hand. That tremor, if you keep doing whatever you did in the alley, you're going to lose function. Probably. That's not a plan. It's a forecast. Her eyes held mine. No pity, just fact. Then she said, try not to die. It's paperwork. I snorted, the sound sharp and brief. You say the sweetest things. As I pushed through the morgue door, my phone buzzed. Liam. Of course? I answered before it could ring. Tell me you're calling to apologize for your charming welcome, I said. His voice was tight, controlled, not calm. Where are you? Morgue. Why? Because your corpse is still connected to something. Silence. Then lower. Connected how? I stared at the hallway's flickering lights. I could still feel the thread, faint beneath my skin, like a bruise you don't see until you touch it. Like bait, I said. And I think I'm what they're fishing for. Another beat. Then Liam said, I'm coming to you. No, I said instantly. Evie. You bring uniforms and they'll smell blood in the water, I snapped. You come alone. His breath hit the line, audible. Frustration, fear, anger he didn't want to admit. Fine, he said. 10 minutes. Bring coffee, I said. If I'm going to explain the end of your reality, I want caffeine. He made a sound that might have been a laugh in another life. Evie? Yeah. His voice dropped. What the hell are we dealing with? I thought of the carved line on the heart, the calm curiosity on the other side of the thread, the feeling of being cataloged. Someone who isn't improvising, I said. Someone who's been waiting. I ended the call and leaned my head against the wall for half a second. The building hummed faintly, like it was remembering the tear. Residual heat, a message that didn't need words. They knew I'd come, and they were learning. End of chapter 3. The investigation continues in the next chapter. Thanks for listening.